What is up, everybody? It's Vicious here, and today I want to look at Forspoken gameplay. I got some more DNF Duel content and more other stuff coming soon, don't you worry. But I wanted to go over Forspoken. It's a game I'm excited for. Got pushed back to January 24th, 2023, if I'm not mistaken. And it's got some mixed coverage on it. There's some things that I think could be improved with the game, but I think other people are just taking it like in strides. Like, the people have like nefarious reasons for hating this game. I'm not even gonna lie. So just bear in mind, I'm gonna talk about maybe some YouTubers, maybe just like vaguely what some YouTubers have been saying. But let me tell you what I think about the game. I think the game has loads of potential, and they can like fix the frame rate, because every time they upload footage of this game, it's like a fucking 45 to 30 FPS or something like that, unless it's in the pause menu like this. And I gotta be completely honest, it looks great, but yeah, I think that's like the main thing I'm concerned with. Everything else is just sort of whatever to me. It's going to be improved. This gameplay is like months old, and it's coming out in January. That's a long time from now. It's 5 months from now. Enough time to like definitely flesh the game out, especially since it was meant to be out in October or September or something like that. I think that there will be enough time to work on this game. But, you know, enough with the blues. The game is awesome to see in action. If you disregard the frame rate, there's different ways to attack. There's so many different ways to attack, and like for me, that's something that makes action game, open world or otherwise, really worth buying. Like, it's not just the open world, it's what you can do in the open world. I like how she has the different jumps. I like how this game actually reminds me of like a more open Infamous. I don't like Infamous 1 and 2, but Second Son is like one of my favorite games ever, on PS4. So like this really reminds me of it, but with like way more abilities. If you like Infamous, I can't see why you would like hate this game so much. That earth effect was whatever, but I like how you can set traps, you can have different shots, there's like melee abilities. But again, it's really all about the frame rate. But there's some good ideas here. She threw a fire spear and it exploded. Now she has what is this, lightning or something? I forget what they said it was when they were explaining it, but it's pretty interesting. I think the enemies are a bit docile and goofy, but you know, who's to say that this isn't like a beginning area? Yeah, see, stuff like that, it's cool. You know, I don't like the whole walking around in a circle bit, but I do like the attacks. I'm just hoping that this is just like the beginning, and this is fodder, and this is like middle of the game level like abilities that she's using, because honestly, this is too easy. But you know, I think they're just trying to show like the spectacle of the game more than anything, which, you know, use your third eye a bit. Now, there are some people that just hate this game, and I had to bring it up because it's the obvious thing. There are some people that hate this game just because, you know, the protagonist is a female, and also adding on to that, because the protagonist is a person of color. I don't know if she's black. People just say that she's black, but, you know, there's people that aren't black that share black people's skin tones. You know, she could be Indian, she could be any sort of like, you know, person of color. We're not entirely sure. But unless they've mentioned it already. But those are the main things. There was one dude, his name is I don't know, some fucking weirdo. He's like an edgelord gamer, plays Battlefield, complains about women being in it. He has like the Char from Gundam. Char from Gundam is like his avatar, and you know, he does that YouTuber thing where it's like not even animated or whatever. It's just like, you know, different faces or different pictures. When he's trying to explain how fucking pissy and edgelordy and how much of a bitch he is. But he thinks this game is like too woke or whatever, but it's like, can we just get past the point where, you know, we care that women are like being leads in games? Like, Jesus Christ, like, how these dudes get no bitches whatsoever, by the way. See, this enemy here looks cool. It's just a bear, but it's a cool looking bear. Whoa, let's turn that back a little bit. This is my problem specifically with the game. They'll show scenes like this, like, it looks cool, it looks great, but when we're watching gameplay, the gameplay they've shown us it just feels like the frame rate is going nuts, and the run animation, it doesn't look so smooth, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's my main complaint, and I think that's like a pretty valid complaint to have, and I think it's something that can be fixed. These motherfuckers want this character to, like, not be who she is. Oh, hold on a second.
That's not what I would call Earth. I'm seeing freaking dragons, and oh yeah, I'm talking to a cop. Did I just do that?
All right, so I've seen people like say that the commentary, or I'm sorry, the dialogue is bad. And you know what? We don't even see the scene that happened there. Like, those could be different scenes. Well, not really. That's probably the same scene, but honestly, like, if you think that's cheesy and you play Mario and you fucking throw a hat on top of a dinosaur and the dinosaur gets Mario's eyes, cartoony eyes, and a fucking hat and a mustache, if you think that's cool, I need you to shut the fuck up. Like, you're just a corny motherfucker that's just trying to pick apart a game that, you know, is trying a little bit harder. You know what I mean? Like, maybe it's too hard for them. Maybe the dialogue is a bit too much, but honestly, this game looks pretty good, you know? And it's bringing together some concepts that you don't really see in a lot of games in this era, you know? Like I said, it's like Infamous. We haven't had Infamous since 16 or is now 2022.
You're the one that's planning on facing off with Sylar.
I like the traversal. Like, look at this. How could you look at this and be like, this game is gonna suck? Like, maybe, sure, if the enemies don't have like good they don't have good AI, that could be a problem, but you know, I'm sure that they're going to have difficulty settings, which is something that's not prototypical in like Souls games. So, you know, I can't stress enough the importance of difficulty and difficulty settings. They can really make a game or break a game. Oh, there's gonna be some stealth. I'm down with that. Oh, that looked good. We're gonna look at the comments here in a second, once all this is done. By the way, if this enemy that we're seeing right here was in Elden Ring, then we would never hear the end of it. We would absolutely just never hear the end of the shit. Like, we would see art for generations about it, but nobody's talking about that. And that's just, I just think that's the biasness that we have in this era. You know, back in the early 2000s, the biasness that we had in that era was if you didn't play a shooting game, you know, you're just pretty much a boring gamer. And then it sort of like slowly evolved. It like went to Skyrim, then it went to you know, Dark Souls and stuff eventually. But like, we kind of stayed in that era for a long time. Nintendo like can escape it because Nintendo will never get those games unless they're like remasters or some shit from like the PS3 era. But yeah, sorry, I'm just like, this is cool, you know what I mean? Who looks at this and is like, yeah, it doesn't look that good. I don't think the enemies are gonna be that responsive. There's no rolling. I can't do a Ripozzetti. There's no parry. Like, honestly, man, I think this game is going to be a banger. Obviously.
Let's finish this.
How much we got left in the trailer? Because I want to get to these comments. All right, it's not that much longer. Hell yeah, Forspoken. Now let's look at the comments. Alright, let's look at these comments. So, let's see. It just has that empty kind of tech demo vibe to it. I think the powers are cool and the traversal is nice, but I get the feeling there's not much meat here. It feels empty in the same way Sonic Frontiers does, and I've seen all the other gameplay videos for Forspoken as well. Here's the thing. When he says that he's seen all the other Forspoken videos as well, And I'm not taking this as like a super volatile comment, and I don't work for Square Enix, so I'm just gonna tell them like this. Most of those videos are like in the same areas. Like, if you notice, they're like in the same areas, and like anytime they go past the area, like the mountainous like desert region or whatever, it's normally like a quick little like snippet of a fight. Which you can, I understand the skepticism there, and you know what, you might be right. So I'm not going to say much about that, but I will say this: if you like Elden Ring, I don't understand. This isn't towards him. If you like Elden Ring, I don't know if you could really like have many complaints like this. Elden Ring is not that populated of a game. A lot of the open space in Elden Ring is like meaningless. There are some enemies, and there's some different enemies in different parts of the map, but there's large stretches of the map that are just like, hey, is there a cave over here? You know what I mean? And you guys know how I feel about Elden Ring. I think that game is mid. But let's see what Serenity has to say. Make sure I'm like on this. What I like what I like the most is that there is a lot of variety with the powers, so that combat won't feel repetitive. I like that. Yeah. See, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, that's why I like the game. It looks like Infamous, but it looks like Infamous with like more options, which is more interesting to me. All right, let's see. The landscape and sound are gorgeous. The character is pretty enticingly different. The combat is obviously looking phenomenal, and the monster design looks pretty cool. Still, though, this is gonna live by its side quest quality and its story. I'm really hoping they nail that. Yeah, you and me both, because as much as I'm praising this game, it could definitely be a flop. But, like I said, I'm just sort of like relying on mods for games like this. Like, even if the game isn't like what I expect it to be, I think mods can make it what we expect it to be. That's normally what we like. Let's see here. The combat looks really fun and traversal, maybe one of the best I've seen in a while, for how open or empty the world looks. But I can still see some generic open world elements that kind of let me down. This is so confusing to me. Sometimes when I'm on these videos about open world games, like, I don't know like what exactly, like, you know what I mean? Like, what do you want from an open world game, and like what is generic, and what do you hate about open world games? Like, if you hate open world games so much, you know what I mean? Like, what would you like in an open world game? Let's see. And the character talks too much. I mean, I don't like that. Like, the character talks too much. Like, they're voice acting the game, and that pisses you off. Just turn the voice off. Like, people with complaints like that, it's like, dude, options is like, it's in there. It's okay to have a lot of pieces of dialogue, but she says something every time she does anything. Not a big deal, clearly, but I can see it's getting very annoying. Blah 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 blah. Maybe it's me being a boomer. I don't know, man. Maybe it's just the way you feel. Let me sort by. Well, these are the top comments, and I hate that we filter by top comments, and then I got this one that's 38. And this one is 82. Like, you should filter it by like most interacted with. It's reminding me of Infamous, but in a fantasy setting. This person knows what they're talking about. This looks beyond creative. So, I mean, overall, there's like a positive outlook on the game. But as you can see, it's like 3K. It's like fucking 3.5K likes or dislikes and 10K likes. It's it actually kind of like messes with me a little bit. Like, what exactly do they hate about this game? If you're gonna say that it's empty, like, all right, sure, you got that, but hold on a second. All right, so in this section of the video, I want to talk a little bit about some hypocrisy. So this is Elden Ring. Oh, you know what? Let me get my filter straight. But first, let's see. So this got 8 million views, and it is counting. It looks like almost 9 million views, and it got 293K likes and 4.5K dislikes, which, grand scheme of things, it's not all that much. You know what I mean? But let's look at the gameplay that they showed us at first. Look how empty this looks, right? So nobody complains about this, but most of this shit, can you guys see the mouse? Most of this shit is like nothing. And they, like, it's so much nothing that they didn't show anything there. And look, there's a giant over there. Nice. There's some stuff you can collect. And I want to remind you that the rate at which you're traveling is slower than what you would see in Forspoken. And I'm not trying to say, like, hey, you need to like Forspoken. But, you know, this is what I say when I talk about people needing to have consistency with open worlds. Because there was a lot of nothing that we saw and we moved really slowly through. And now we're not really seeing much different. You know, like there's some dudes down there, but there's like less enemies overall than like what we seen when Athia, what was her name? I forget her name from Forspoken. I want to call her Athia because of Project Athia. But we didn't see like half as many enemies when we looked at Elden Ring, right? And do they make a cutaway here? They sure do. So like there's not really like a great way to get back to this position, I don't think, unless you like jump down and you could be seen. And this is the lamest shit ever. I hate this. So I think it takes like an arrow or two to make a motherfucker go to sleep on Elden Ring, right? And it's not even like a good thing to have. I'm almost certain that the enemy over there should just see you. Like, I think they should hear you fucking do that. This gameplay is not very exciting. Like, I hate to be that person, but this is like nothing. This is like Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3. And that motherfucker should have been hit. I say all this not to be salty at Elden Ring, but I'm saying it because, like, look at the inconsistency of like what people like. Like, oh, this is an RPG. You know, if you like wizards and shit, I think that you know, Forspoken should have what you like. But you know, this is like doctored ass gameplay. At least they had the common decency to show us gameplay of like what you could expect from a person. I don't know what the hell they were trying to feed us here. This shit is like this motherfucker he switched weapons like 3 times. Look at all this nothing. So there's some enemies down there, but this is mostly just trees, like in the game. You know what I mean? But nobody cares. It's just like, oh, it's a beautiful yellow landscape. Like, it's crazy how inconsistent people are. You know, but nobody really cares about it because it's a FromSoft title. But that's all I got to say. I think I think that Forspoken could be pretty cool. So let me know what you guys think in the comments.